Is Nigeria on the brink of disintegration? In the last few days, news from Borno has shaken many of us. A military convoy from the 25 Task Force Brigade was ambushed near Wajiroko, and several soldiers along with members of the CJTF were killed. This was not just another headline. It was a reminder of the worsening fragility of our national security architecture. What has made the situation even more troubling is the conflicting narrative surrounding the fate of Brigadier General Uba, the brigade commander. While ISWAP claims he was captured and killed after the ambush, the Nigerian army has publicly denied this, insisting he led his men out of the attack and returned to base. This contradiction alone speaks volumes about a system where even basic clarity on life and death events becomes a struggle. Beyond the claims and counterclaims, one thing is painfully clear. Nigeria's security crisis is not just about terrorists in the bush. It is about the institutional decay that leaves us unable to respond coherently or credibly. We are in the 21st century, yet questions are emerging about communication failures and operational vulnerabilities that should have been resolved long ago. If a brigade-level formation can be ambushed and the nation left confused about the commander's fate, what does that say about our readiness, our technology, and our leadership? And as all this unfolds, what is our political leadership doing? Traveling, hosting delegations, consolidating political structures ahead of 2027. Everything except addressing the insecurity that is tearing this country apart. How do we attract investment with this level of uncertainty? How does an economy grow when the military itself is struggling with avoidable operational gaps? How can citizens feel safe when the state appears overwhelmed? Yet, perhaps the most baffling part is the attitude of some Nigerians who continue to defend this government even when they gain nothing from it. No security, no economic relief, no clear plan for the future. And that raises the uncomfortable question: is this political Stockholm syndrome? A situation where people remain loyal to structures that are actively harming them. We keep raising alarms. We keep engaging. We keep demanding accountability. But at what point do we finally admit that the country is drifting dangerously? Because with the frequency of attacks, the institutional confusion, the erosion of public confidence, and the indifference of those in power, we are edging closer to a point where it may be difficult to reverse the damage. As we debate the fate of this country, maybe this is the time to revisit the controversial but unforgettable warning issued in 2018 by former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Theyon Danjuma, retired. At the height of the killings in Taraba, he said, "The armed forces are not neutral. They collude with the armed bandits. They provide cover for their movement. If you depend on the armed forces, you will all die one by one." Those words were dismissed at the time as exaggerated, emotional, or politically motivated. But looking at recent events, the rising insecurity, the persistent ambushes, the conflicting military narratives, and the erosion of public trust, one is forced to confront an uncomfortable reality. Were Danjuma's warnings actually prophetic? The tragedy is not just that he said it. The tragedy is that several years later, instead of disproving him with institutional reforms and improved capacity, we continue to witness incidents that make such statements appear less like rhetoric and more like diagnosis. So I ask, not out of sentiment, but out of genuine concern for our collective survival, is Nigeria on the brink of disintegration? Your opinion matters. Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to our channel as we continue exposing uncomfortable truths they don't want you to know.